Here's my reaction to the opening. Dustin Benzel here. Dustin Benzel here, ready to react to the opening like I promised in my other video. Depending on how this goes, you'll either see it or not, but here we go. I'm not expecting a lot because I didn't see very many things, but it looks pretty interesting, so I guess we'll have to see. So in 3, 2, 1... Oh, just before I play it though, just to let you know, I may cut some things out and just show you the really good reactions. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Or, wait, hold on. Never mind. False start. False start on the play. Okay, here we go. Alright. 3, 2, 1, play. Okay. There we go. Oh, nice. Ooh, Greninja. I saw that. Oh, wow. That's a cool opening. That's so cool, Greninja's in the opening. Ooh, look at that. So it is from the opening. Sawyer with Mega Sceptile. Oh, that is so cool. Zygarde complete form. Wolfric. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, interesting. Okay, let me look here. I need to see his Pokemon. Noibat's still in the opening. Well, that was a pretty cool opening, but it had like no spoilers outside of Ash Greninja and Sawyer's Mega Sceptile, so whatever. Anyway, that's it. Well, there you have it. That was my reaction to the opening. So, let's jump right into this review. Hello, everyone. I'm Dustin Benzel, and welcome to another Pokemon XYZ discussion. Now, I'm leaving the opening out of this particular video, my intro to the Pokemon videos out of this one, because I have my reaction to the Pokemon XYZ opening, and, well, in clarification to what I said in my discussion of it, it doesn't seem like it was all that good, and if you see my one video first, you'll see that I was I was somewhat disappointed with the opening in that it left out a lot of wasted opportunities. The only spoiler it offered was just Ash Greninja, basically. So we don't know if Noibat's going to evolve or Eevee's going to evolve or any captures. So what does that mean? Anything can go, regardless of what's on the X, Y, and Z poster. Anything can go. Ash can capture a Quilladin for all we know. You would think it'd be in the opening, but the fact that Noivern wasn't in the opening at all, you know, and the weird thing is, I don't mean to criticize them because maybe they didn't realize it, but Ash didn't get anything special in the opening except the very intro where it showed all of his Pokemon normally, and it was kind of disappointing to see that. But the thing that is, when the opening happened, we had these multicolored images of Clement and Serena and their Pokemon. Ash didn't get that. I don't know if they thought the very beginning of the X, Y, and Z opening, where it showed Greninja with Noibat, Honchkrow, or yeah, Ash is getting a Honchkrow. You didn't know? Sorry, Halucha. Sorry about that. Talonflame, you know, that was all that there was for Ash and his Pokemon, which was kind of disappointing. So, it was pretty cool. I mean, the Mega Sceptile versus Ash Greninja fight was pretty cool, but outside of that, I'm not really sure. There was one thing about the opening that concerned me, and of course, that was the scene where Ash is like down in his dumps or whatever, and there's Greninja looking at him, and then all of a sudden, he goes and reaches out for Greninja, but Greninja turns into a puddle, and then basically Ash cries, and then all of a sudden we get Ash Greninja because it comes together. And I did show you an image in my past video. I thought it was all for the first episode. I was wrong. But yeah, I think that's how Greninja has its form. They combine together. Some people are calling it synchro evolution, which I guess makes sense. I don't know if that was like a Digimon thing or whatever, because I don't know where that came from. The synchro part of it. I don't know if that's a manga thing or something like that, but yeah, it might have been Yu-Gi-Oh? Yu-Gi-Oh had Synchro Evolution, so I guess I don't know. I stopped watching Yu-Gi-Oh after GX, so I don't know about that. But yeah, I guess Synchro Evolution, trainer and Pokemon, powers combined, creating a Pokemon without actually fusing. I guess like in Yu-Gi-Oh, the heart of the cards. I guess, what something like that. I don't know. But anyway, let's get away from the opening and let's actually talk about the episode. So, the Mega Evolution Act 4 is which we're going to talk about first. Starts with, of course, a recap of the first three uh, uh, Mega Evolution acts. There's a little discussion about the Mega Evolution. I don't know what that image is of that Pokemon. I think it might be Charizard. I'm not really sure. But then, of course, but then we have all this images of the Mega Evolution acts before, and then we get into this, and Marin is with Steven Stone at the Pokemon Center talking to Sycamore. Alon is battling against 10 trainers, and there will be a surprise that I will discuss later. But I have a theory of why it happened, and it may not. It we'll talk about it when we get there. But anyway, the episode starts with Mega Venusaur with some kid who doesn't look like he's old enough to have Pokemon, but whatever. Is Ash abnormally large for a 10-year-old? I mean, I know his female companions and anyone else that's around that age is roughly around the same age as Ash. But we have, I think even Paul is shorter than Ash. Shota, who's about 10 years old, is shorter than Ash. And then we have this particular trainer who's shorter than Ash, who looks like the size of Bonnie. I mean, uh, Sawyer Shota, he looks like he's about Bonnie's age, just a little bit. It's like he's between Bonnie and Ash, but he's old enough to have a Pokemon. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe there'll be some storyline about how in the anime they can have Pokemon at a younger age so Bonnie can get a Pokemon. Because isn't Bonnie like around 8 or something? Isn't she like 7 or 8 or something like that? So she's almost old enough to be a Pokemon trainer, I guess. But anyway, so we have this little short stuff trainer with glasses. Some people said he looked like Weevil Underwood, which I guess kind of kind of accurate. Weevil Underwood had like green hair and glasses, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he had glasses and he had like tealish colored hair. So it kind of looks like Weevil Underwood, just very different. Pokemon thing, greener hair, like like a brighter green than Sawyer's hair. So Mega Evolution Act 4 starts with Charizard battling against Mega Venusaur. Uh, Apparently, from what I've seen, this was Mega Charizard X's most challenging battle, not counting the last battle against you. You can probably guess who, and I'll get to there in a moment. But yeah, definitely interesting. So then Steven and Lysander are talking about something, I don't know, but this one's interesting because Alon used flamethrower and was like, "Oh yeah, hey, what do you know?" And it took until a Dragon Claw to knock out Venusaur, but Alon didn't realize that Venusaur's ability is thick fat, and thick fat reduces super effective damage. So Flamethrower didn't do as much as Alon was hoping for. So then the next opponent, of course, is Alakazam. Um, so the next challenge is against a Mega Alakazam. Charizard does fairly well. Battles against another Pokemon trainer. I can't recall who. Oh wait, maybe it was that? No, that's Alakazam. Thought Alakazam was second, not third. Oh, Heracross was third, I believe. So then Ampharos, or well, then we have Aggron. Alana's happy with Charizard. Marin comes up, and I think Marin realized what's going on. I think this was a thing that Lysander had with Alon. Alon, if I remember correctly, in the summaries and everything leading up to this episode, Alon was put his Keystone and his Megastone on the line, and if he lost the 10 battle Mega Evolution Act battle tournament, he would lose his ability to Mega Evolve Charizard because Lysander would take it back or whatever. So then Marin comes in and she's like, "No, Alon, I can't let you do this." But then Alon gets really upset and gets really angry. We have a funny moment where Charizard chides Alon, basically, kind of. I don't know if it was really chiding, but it seemed like it because Charizard's like, "Really?" and kind of like Charizard speak or whatever. Marin is upset because Alon basically told Marin to get the heck out of there, basically. There's a reason why Alon did it, and I will explain it based on what I can remember. So Marin is completely crushed and upset. So Chespy goes off, running off, doing whatever it was, and then runs up into Zygarde Core with, of course, Zygarde cells. So there's some energy thing going on, and then Chespin, they're trying to get. Wow, I don't know. My facial hair is tickling my nose, I think. Um, and they're trying to get Zygarde to turn into a different form, I'm guessing. I will talk about more about this in the first episode because it's a continuation, basically, but just with Ash and everybody. So they're trying to get Zygarde to change, or Zygarde Core to turn into a different form, but something goes wrong. Apparently, I guess there wasn't enough Zygarde cells, and I will talk about that in in the next episode. So then Chespin is glowing, grabs Zygarde Core, has Zygarde Core escaping, and then Chespy collapses. And then, of course, we get Pinsir, Mega Pinsir battling against Charizard, all the way down to its final trainer, which turns out to be Malva, which I don't think anyone is surprised, unless you absolutely knew nothing about this. Malva of the Elite Four is Alon's last trainer, so they go ahead and battle Mega Charizard X versus Houndoom. Mega Houndoom. Malva has her necklace pendant, and Mega evolves Houndoom. So then the battle continues. Malva seems like she has an overwhelming advantage. But of course, Alon doesn't give up. While they're battling, Marin realizes that Chespy is in trouble. Then they run into Steven Stone. And then they bring it to Nurse Joy. Then the battle continues, and then we get an epic blast burn, which I wish debuted with Ash's Pokemon, but whatever. He didn't get Hydro Cannon, he didn't get Hydro Plant or Plant Frenzy or whatever. And now Alon has to show a Charizard using Blast Burn. That's just the jerkiest thing ever. And surprisingly, after losing Blast Burn, Houndoom is knocked out. Alon has beaten Malva of the Elite Four. Or did he really beat Malva? I will discuss that when I'm done doing my synopsis for the episode. So anyway, after Alon wins, they hear something in regards to Chespin being in trouble. Sycamore shows up. Nurse Joy says that Chespin is like hanging on a thread, basically. I don't know if I'm going to go so far as to say that Chespy is actually going to die or anything like that, but whew, I don't know what Nurse Joy or anyone else said, but Chespy isn't doing so well. And then of course Alon gets really upset, and then he runs into Bayonet, the weird trainer that I show. There is an image here that I will, of course, add, and it's a lot different than the image that I showed you a long time ago that I mentioned. Remember that trainer that had Mega Bayonet? Yeah. So Malva and Lysander are talking about something. So Alon is upset and angry because something happened to Marin's Chespin. Marin isn't happy, and or not Marin, Alon probably blames himself for shooing off Marin, making her upset. Because Marin wanted to be alone. That's why Chespy was alone, because Marin was very crushed and just wanted to cry alone or whatever. So Marin had a bad trouble. So I think Alon blames himself. So then it was pretty much the end of the episode outside of one little scene, if it'll actually go here. And it's basically Zygarde core, and then we see a shadow of, I believe, Zygarde 50% form, indicating that Zygarde core can become Zygarde 50%, I guess. But anyway, so yeah, Professor Sycamore is studying Chespin. Chespin is dangerous. Marin's there. I don't know if we're going to see Marin in the main anime at all. I think this is the last time we're going to see Marin, potentially. So anyway, that's pretty much the episode. This episode was pretty dark, just for the simple fact that Chespin seems to be worse off than Pikachu was in that DP episode, battling against Sho's Raichu, and Pikachu nearly died in that episode. It seems like Chespin is a lot worse. It seems like that one was like in the moment Pikachu could have died, but this one, based on what I'm feeling, I don't know of any translation so far of what's going on, and if I have time, I will look in the forums and see if anyone clarified. But this seems like terminal illness. Like there's absolutely nothing that can be done to save Chespin outside of researching some sort of cure or whatever. So yeah, it was a pretty interesting episode in dark. So anyway, back to my thoughts. I don't think Malva actually lost the battle. I mean, obviously Houndoom stopped being Mega Evolution, or stopped being Mega Evolved or whatever. But I think Malva let Alon take it. I think Alon proved himself, and Malva, in some fashion or another, let Houndoom take the fall and being knocked out. I think it was a situation where if Malva tried her hardest, there would be no way that Alon could have beaten Malva, but Malva was very lenient, and as a result of that, maybe Houndoom saw that and wasn't as up to it. Or it could be as simple as Houndoom is not exactly Malva's strongest Pokemon because she doesn't have a Houndoom in the game. She has like Pyroar and Talonflame, I believe, and I think there was another fire Pokemon that I can't think of right now. So it could be as simple as she didn't use her strongest Pokemon ever to battle against Alon, or maybe she just was lenient. But based on the scenes, I think she was very lenient, and she just basically let Alon win. Just to show that she actually did win. I don't think this means Alon is strong enough to battle the Elite Four or go against the Pokemon League or whatever the case may be. I feel like I don't think this means that Ash Greninja is not going to stand a chance against Mega Charizard X because of this. So I feel like Malva was just very lenient I think Alon also had a lot of attitude problems. At least other people will probably see these as attitude problems because he doesn't want Marin to be really close to him because he's being overprotective, and that's why he shooed her off, was because he wanted her to stay out of his business basically and to just not deal with his problems, and he wants to protect her, and that's why he shoot her off the first time, was because it's kind of like what Ash did with Charizard when he released it to the Charcific Valley, pretty much, where he says, "Who needs a weak Charizard anyway?" and then was crying and ran away. It's kind of like in a similar scene, but more tough love kind of situation. So that's why I think Alon just went crazy at the end because something happened to Marin's chestpin, and Alon blames himself, and that's why he's so angry because he's like, how could Lysander, the mentor that I've trusted in, how could he let something happen to Marin's Chespin by letting Chespin do whatever it wants or whatever, not keeping an eye on Marin or anything of that nature. So I think that's why Alon is upset. So this was a very good episode. Unfortunately, as all the information is said, this is the last Mega Evolution Act 4. Anything else pertaining to the Mega Evolution Act 4 will either have to come under a different special name, maybe a Team Flare special, maybe we'll get Team Flare specials or something of that nature. We're probably going to have to wait for the anime episodes, the main series. So Alon's journey and Marin's journey is pretty much done and over with until we see this in Mega Evolution Act, or not Mega Evolution, the main series with Ash, Ketchum, and everything. I don't know if we're ever going to see Marin at all, though. It's really hard to know for sure. So let's move on real quickly to the next episode, the first X, Y, and Z. Okay. All right. So anyway, the episode starts off with Zygarde coming out of the water, or whatever it is. I'm believing this is Terminus Cave, and I'll tell you why later on when we get to that scene. We have the cave, Zygarde coming through. We have Mabel with her Houndoom. Zygarde, I assume, uses Land's Wrath. It disappears. Mabel is interrupted. Lysander isn't exactly happy. Apparently, Lysander is in the first episode of the X, Y, and Z. Apparently, they weren't very clear on the VA list. So some, like Yuka Terasaki that voiced Chespy and Ash's Noibat, were listed separately, but some people were not listed twice, which is weird. So then we got the opening, blah 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 blah. And then we move in. Then Bonnie is having fun with Pikachu and Dedenne. Everyone's happy. They're getting ready to leave. But then we see something crawling along and gets into Bonnie's bag, or pochette, if you want to be more specific. That's when Bonnie looks in it, and it's Zygarde Core. So Zygarde Core tries to jump out of there and runs around. Everyone's trying to capture this thing. Bonnie catches it. It gets in her shirt, tickles her. Clemot's up, confused or concerned because they don't know what it is. So then Bonnie takes it out and takes it and tries and tickles it and tries to bond with it. And then Ash and Serena, of course, use their Pokedexes on it. There's no information on it whatsoever. So they think it's a new Pokemon. So then they're going forward, and then suddenly a flock of Dodrio come out of nowhere, being chased by Grovyle. Sawyer comes in and says, "Hey, I was looking for Dodrio," and during this time, Zygarde Core gets separated from the group. After, of course, Bonnie names it Puni-chan. So then, of course, we run into Celosia. looking for. She's talking to Mabel. Mabel is being bitter because Celosia is mocking her for failing her task and getting Zygarde 50% form, I believe. So Bonnie and everyone's looking for Zygarde core. Celosia runs into it. Drapion, Celosia's Drapion grabs the Zygarde core. That's when Ash and everyone show up. So they use their Pokemon to battle against Team Flare Scientist, Pikachu, Grovyle. Ash sends out Noibat to use Supersonic. And then Pikachu to use Thunderbolt. There's an explosion between uh, I think it was Drapion's. I don't think it was Cross Poison, but it might have been something similar. And Thunderbolt, and the collision caused a smoke explosion. Ash and everybody ran away, and Celosia is like, "Hey, what's going on?" Then we run into Zerosic, who is with Bryony and Aliana. They're talking with Mabel and Celosia, talking about what's going on. Aliana and Bryony are basically mocking Mabel and Celosia for not doing their job properly. Zerosic has the weirdest voice ever. I don't know who voiced him, but wow, I was expecting a deep voice, not a high-pitched voice. Old woman, maybe that's the voice I think it is. So anyway, they escape. Ash and everybody escape. They send out all their Pokemon. Sawyer notices that there's Noibat and Eevee. I don't know if he noticed Talonflame at all. I don't remember him saying Fire-O, so I don't know if he realized that Fletchinder evolved or not. So Bonnie gets everyone to meet Puni-chan or whatever. So everyone's eating. Bonnie tries to feed Puni-chan, but it doesn't want a Poffin. It doesn't want fruit. So then it just goes somewhere. And then we realize that Zygarde core um, can see what the Zygarde cells are seeing. So Zygarde core is monitoring the area around it, and of course it takes a sun bath, and that's how it regenerates its health, is by just sunbathing basically. That's how it eats and rests and stuff. Sawyer draws a picture of Puny Chans and then mentions his badges. Sawyer has 5 badges now, so that's pretty cool. Also, there's I believe there's 3 anime only badges that Sawyer has, so that's interesting. And then Ash shows his badges and shows Sawyer that he has 7 to. So anyway, yeah. So Ash has 7, Sawyer has 5. So I don't think Sawyer is going to be any trouble. Anime only badges. That's really cool. Even now, there's still anime only badges of gyms that we will never ever ever see. So anyway, then they're talking. This is the part that I was talking about earlier about Terminius Cave, and I think when talking about Puny-chan or something of that nature, I think Sawyer was talking about Terminius Cave possibly. I'm not really sure. It could have been the ice cavern near Snowbell Gym. I think there's something like that, but Serena Serena shows Terminius Cave. Serena shows Bonnie and Puny-chan, um, not Terminius Cave, but she shows a cave, and Zygarde Core jumps on it and is upset. So I'm thinking that's Terminius Cave, and I think it's because Zygarde Core knows that Zygarde 50% form is in Terminius Cave. So anyway, at night, Zygarde Core can't sleep. Uses its ability to monitor, sees, I think it's Celosia again. Zygarde Core gets angry and upset and starts going after them. Then there's pin missiles. Ash and everyone's following. Pin missile attacks. Everyone sends out their Pokemon. Everyone's going up against battling each other. Ash and Sawyer stay behind so that Clement, Bonnie, and Serena can run away with Puni-chan. Team Rocket get involved, or they actually show up and they're like, what's going on over there? So Bonnie falls into the water. Puni-chan shows up somewhere else where, of course, Bryony shows up. Bryony sends out her B-Sharp. Zygarde Core gets very angry, calls upon Zygarde cells, which they all appear. They all glow, shoot energy bolts towards Zygarde Core. They come together. Zygarde becomes 10% form. Uses what I'm assuming is Land's Wrath. Everyone's just blown away. Zygarde Core is injured. Bonnie runs into it. Ash runs into it and stuff. So yeah, this is the part where Zygarde, after Zygarde 10% form uses what I assume is Land's Wrath, Zygarde Core 10% shoots off and it's Zygarde Core again. So no one actually sees this except, of course, Team Flare, who were blasted away basically. So Bonnie finds Zygarde Core and it's healed through sunbathing. And then Bonnie bonds with Zygarde Core. There's hugging. Bryony is upset a little bit. Team Rocket are watching Team Flare. They're excited about something, I guess. I'm assuming because it's a new team, Team Flare, that they're excited that they get to take down another team. Yeah, take down another team. And funny, Wobbuffet comes out there and it's like, "So Navasu," or whatever. And they're like, grab Wobbuffet and try to make it from saying anything. So Sawyer and Ash pretty much go their separate ways. Alon cross paths with Ash. They don't even acknowledge each other. It's like they're not even there. Alon and Ash cross paths, but no one acknowledges each other. It's like, oh, just another person walking by. Oh, well. So then Zygarde's looking out of Bonnie's bag with an angry look, which I think is pretty hilarious. So then we see Lysander with Zerosic, and they're talking about Zygarde 10% form of what Bryony was able to capture on her visor, I guess. I think it's a camera. So yeah, that's that particular episode. Pretty good. So yeah, that episode that's coming up, I think it's the 5th episode that has to do with Pikachu Dreams of Squishy. I think that's when we will get Zygarde 10% form revealed to the main cast. Ash, Clement, Bonnie, Serena. I think that's when they'll learn about it. I think Professor Sycamore is going to be in the next episode, but I'm not really sure. But I'm assuming that Sycamore is going to be involved in some fashion or another. Maybe they have to show Puni-chan to somebody, and someone has to take an interest and talk about it or whatever. Team Flare can't reveal Zygarde Core completely to the main cast. That'd be kind of boring, We need some theories from the other characters that we know, like Sycamore or Nurse Joy, or even Diantha can show up and talk about Zygarde Core for all I care. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't think there's anything else to discuss. This is pretty interesting. I'm a little disappointed that Frogadier is still a Frogadier, but I've gotten over it now. I don't really care anymore. So yes, I don't have a preview for. Well, actually, hold on. Yeah, I'll just talk about it from memory. But the preview for the next episode with the Quilladin episode, there's a fake Squishy, fake Zygarde Core. I'm pretty sure it's Team Rocket's goal to take Zygarde Core. And, of course, as they take Zygarde Core, or Team Rocket going after Zygarde Core, I believe, with the fake puppet of Zygarde Core on a string. trying to capture these Zygarde cord, the real one. And so then there's also Quilladin, who's like running out of love after Eevee. Quilladin uses Vine Whip in the shape of hearts to try and press Eevee. Quilladin attacks Pancham with like Needle Arm, and Chespin gets involved as well. We also see Quilladin using Rollout, which is really cool. We see Pancham flinging uh, Quilladin at some point or whatever. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about this particular episodes. Great episodes, great 1 hour special, amazing to watch, amazing to see, great introduction. Mega Evolution Act 4 was pretty dark, especially with what happened with Chespin and all these other things or whatever. So anyway, I think that's it. So is there anything else? Yeah, because all the information else that I have about the upcoming episodes have already been in that other video. So thank you for watching. I'm Dustin Benzel, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.